Hey y'all, I want to talk about this story in Matthew chapter 22. It's verses 15 through 22. And what's happening in this passage is the Pharisees and the Herodians are teaming up against Yahusha, Jesus, and asking him about paying taxes. All right, but the story, it really isn't about paying taxes. It's about our relationship with God. But this passage can kind of go over people's heads a little bit if you allow it to, if you don't understand it. So I want to explain it. Before I get started, I want to talk about who the Pharisees and the Herodians are, so to help you have a better context of the passage. The Pharisees were a religious sect of Jews. They basically rejected the Messiah and held fast to the Torah. They were what you would call today legalists. They did a lot of preaching and they put burdens on people that they themselves couldn't bear. So this is who the Pharisees were. The Herodians, on the other hand, were opposite of the Pharisees. The Pharisees hated the Herodians because the Herodians conformed to Roman and Greek culture. All right. But they came together for one common goal. And that common goal was to hate Yahusha, Jesus the Messiah. So they were enemies, but they came together against Yahusha multiple times in the Gospels to team up on him and ask him certain questions to try to get him to stop preaching or try to discourage him. So when you hear me talk about the Pharisees and the Herodians, just know that that's who this is. All right, in Matthew chapter 22, verses 15, it says, "Then the Pharisees went and plotted how they might entangle him in his talk. And they sent to him their disciples with the Herodians, saying, 'Teacher, we know that you are true and teach the way of God in truth, nor do you care about anyone, for you do not regard the person of man. Tell us, therefore, what do you think? Is it lawful to pay taxes to Caesar or not?' But Yahusha, Jesus, perceived their wickedness, and he said, 'Why do you test me, you hypocrites?'" So what we got going on right here is the Herodians and the Pharisees teamed up together and asked Yahusha a very controversial question about taxes. All right, this is a sensitive subject. He knew what they was doing. He knew that they was trying to catch him up in his words. That's why he said, "Why do you test me, you hypocrites?" So basically, he's in a situation where Yahusha, Jesus, is in a situation where he's trapped. If he says, yes, that he agrees with paying taxes, then he would be hated by the people because the people was against paying taxes. So if Yahusha agreed with paying taxes, then he would be against the people because taxes was a burden, just like taxes is a burden today. But if he said no, that he doesn't agree with paying taxes, then he would be held responsible for upholding a revolt against the government. So if he said no, then basically he would be responsible for inciting a riot against the government. So whether he said yes or no, he would be in trouble, which is exactly why he said, "Why do you test me, you hypocrites?" He knew exactly what was going on. In the following verse, verse 19, Yahusha, Jesus the Messiah, said, "Show me the tax money." So they brought him a denarius. A denarius, for those who don't know, is a Roman coin in the Roman Empire. It was worth one day's worth of wages. So when you hear the Bible talk about denarius, just know that's what it is. If you work one day, then you would have received a denarius. In verse 20, it says, "And he said to them, 'Whose image and inscription is this on the denarius?' Then they said to him, 'Caesar's.' And he said to them, 'Render therefore to Caesar the things that are Caesar's, and to God the things that are God's.' When they had heard these words, they marveled and left him and went their way." So Yahusha asked them, whose picture and inscription is it on this Roman coin? And they told him, "Caesar's." And Yahusha responded and told them, "Well, give Caesar what is Caesar's, and give God what is his." And taxes has always been a burden. As you can see, this has been going on for thousands of years. But what Yahusha, Jesus, has to say about this is, whoever faces on the money, that's whose money it is. So give it to them and give God what is his. So what he means by that is if you look on this dollar, it's the government's face on there. A president, George Washington. It's not your face on there. It's not your money. So give the government what is theirs and give God what is his. So we as believers of Yahusha HaMashiach, Jesus the Messiah, we as his followers, we are owned by him. The money is not ours. The money is not his. We are his. So when he says give the government what is theirs and give God what is his, We are his. He's talking about us. Long as what the government requires does not come in between our relationship with God, then give them whatever they ask. Our faith is in Yahusha HaMashiach. Yahusha is trying to explain right here is, if somebody asks you for something, give it to them. The reason why is because we already have everything. We have Jesus. We have Yahusha. As long as we don't lose him, then we haven't lost anything. You know, we can lose all the money in this world, and as long as we have him, then we still haven't lost anything. You know, we could pay all the taxes in this world. We can be in debt, $20,000 in debt. But as long as we got him, then he'll take care of it. That's what he's trying to say. There's nothing on this earth that we should be worried about. But this passage isn't only for what the government requires from us or may ask from us. It can also be used for what the world may require from us, or what our family or what our friends may require from us. We have to remember to not give the world what is God's, which is you.